Dear student, why are you here today? Ask yourself this honestly. Because making money might be difficult for you. Perhaps opportunities don't show up the way you want. Maybe abundance never seems to stay in your life. If any of this feels true for you, then that is probably why you are here. I understand you. But when you leave here today, you will look at this issue from a completely different perspective. I can say that clearly. If you apply what I tell you, you will no longer have a problem with money or abundance. Yes, I am that serious. Because abundance is not a problem to be solved in the external world, as most people think. Abundance is a state of consciousness, and when consciousness changes, the conditions of your life must change as well. If you're ready, let's begin. Where do people look for abundance? Most people look for it outside. A better job, more clients, a better economy. But if the same cycles have been repeating in your life for years, you must realize this. The problem is not in the external world. The problem is often a silent assumption repeating in the mind. Without realizing it, a person creates a story about themselves. Money is hard to earn. Life is expensive. I can never get ahead. And then they think these thoughts hundreds of times. For days, months, years. Then one day they come and ask, why is life always like this? But life is not like this. Life simply reflects the assumptions you accept in your consciousness. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, a man came to my classes. He was hardworking but constantly struggled with money. Whatever he earned somehow disappeared. One day he said, I want abundance, but reality is obvious. I asked him one question. What do you think about yourself throughout the day? He paused, then said, I guess I keep saying money is hard to earn. At that moment I told him, the story of your life is hidden in that sentence. Because consciousness is shaped by repeated assumptions. And if a person carries the belief that money is difficult, life produces conditions that confirm it. Abundance consciousness is not. One day I will be rich. That is only hope. Abundance consciousness is. I am already in abundance. Opportunities come to me. Money is a natural energy in my life. This is not a wish. This is an assumption. And assumption is the most powerful creative mechanism of consciousness. Now, the 3-day mental practice for abundance. Day 1, become aware of your money story. Take a paper and write. What do I really think about money? Write everything without censoring yourself. Then observe how your financial experiences reflect these beliefs. Replace them with a new story. Money comes to me easily. Life offers me opportunities. There is always enough. Repeat them throughout the day, not just as words, but as if they are already true. Day 2, build the feeling of abundance. Close your eyes and ask, if I truly had abundance, how would I feel? Maybe calm, safe, free. Feel that for a few minutes. Return to that feeling during the day. Day 3, stabilize the assumption. Observe your thoughts. When a negative thought appears, say, this is just an old habit. Then replace it with, new opportunities always find me. Repeat gently, without force. Dear student, the world is not as rigid as you think. The world reflects your consciousness. And a person lives the story they believe the most. Abundance is not a reward from outside. It is a state of being you adopt. And when consciousness changes, your life must change. Now ask yourself, which story do I choose to live? Philosophical expansion, deeper version. What you call reality is less like a fixed structure and more like a mirror, subtle, patient, and unarguing. It does not decide what to show you, it simply reflects what is most deeply assumed. This idea is not new. Across centuries, philosophers have approached it from different angles. Some called it perception, some belief, some will, some consciousness. Yet they converge on a similar insight. The human being does not merely encounter reality, they participate in its formation. Your story is not just psychological decoration, it is ontological, it shapes the very way the world appears to you. When you repeat money is hard, you are not just describing reality, you are training perception. You begin to notice obstacles more than opportunities. You interpret neutral events as limitations. Gradually, what began as a thought becomes an environment. This is how belief becomes world. But here lies a subtle danger in the original idea. It is tempting to assume that changing thoughts alone magically reshapes material conditions. That's too simplistic. A more grounded philosophical view would say this: your assumptions shape your attention. Your attention shapes your decisions. Your decisions shape your actions. Your actions shape your outcomes. Your outcomes reinforce your assumptions. So the abundance mindset is not mystical, it is recursive. It feeds back into itself. To adopt a new assumption, then, is not to deny reality, but to reorient your participation in it. Abundance, in this deeper sense, is not just about money. It is about your relationship with possibility. A person in scarcity asks, "What if this fails?" A person in abundance asks, "What else is possible here?" Same world, different doorway. There is also an existential layer to this. When you ask, "Which story do I choose?" you are confronting freedom. And freedom is uncomfortable, because if your story is chosen, then it is also changeable, and if it is changeable, then responsibility follows. So the real shift is not just from scarcity to abundance. It is from unconscious repetition, right arrow conscious authorship. You stop being a character reacting to events, and begin acting as a narrator shaping meaning. But even deeper, no story is ever final. Abundance itself can become another rigid identity if held too tightly. True freedom lies not in clinging to a single narrative, but in recognizing that you are the one who tells it. So perhaps the most honest question is not, "Which story do I choose?" but, "Who is the one choosing, and can they choose again?"